Hello and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? Good to see you.
Great to see you. It's toasty out.
Toasty.
Yes.
Lot of shirtless men walking around in dress pants, as I've said last week, and no one agreed with me.
But apparently there were like two people who did agree.
It's not enough DMs to really for me to defend it.
Right. The poll needs to be, you say a lot of people,
right.
You know.
Some of you have said, it's really two of you have said.
Two of you have said.
That have said, Jared, I agree with you. But it is hot, toasty. I'm sweating on the table, but it is, I was told not to say something, but I feel like I got to share with the audience.
I think we've got to share it because this is maybe one of the most exciting things to come out of this. That we have to announce.
It's a cool announcement because, and here's the other thing. People are like, you say,
Something's coming.
I don't want to be that guy.
You're just going to tell them what's coming.
We're going to have a Netflix special.
Woo!
It's going to happen.
Play the sound effects.
Play the music.
Yes.
Here comes the bride. This is my wedding.
And seriously though, it is funny. Like when you called me to tell me.
You were my mom, dad, brother, Jordana.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Amazing. I feel very honored.
Call, yeah.
I've never been this genuinely happy for someone
I appreciate
as I was when you called me. It's just so funny also because like usually when I have friends who just call me randomly in the middle of the day, it's to tell me that they're like engaged or pregnant. Right. This felt like your engagement.
A little bit. Yeah. It did feel like, because I go, are you around? I got to call you. Like, who's calling each other? Yeah. It's, so what's going on? Like, and again, like, the reason people tell you, like, maybe you should wait to say, I haven't even signed whatever, but they've just said, we're going to do it.
Yes.
And I think it's going to happen.
And it wasn't a spam email.
No, it wasn't from the guy at Netflix.com.
A Prince. Yes.
Prince, whatever. Yeah, it's a weird thing because we made it in December and then we shopped it around. Everyone said no. And like, here's the thing. And then Netflix was like, oh my God, this is right up our wheelhouse. And sorry it took so long. And we're going to do, I think, second week of August is what I'm hearing. Again, those things can change. I know I'll get DMs. Is it today? I know. But, the reason I'm saying it here before it's even, like, official, or because this is, like, these are the OKPs. Like, I do feel a familial relationship
What's
with
an OKP?
Original Key Players.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Yeah,
is that a sports thing?
No, it was a thing my buddy used to say about, like, the crew that would hang out on Sundays in New York. Like, when you first moved to New York, you have like those Sunday people that were like, I'll drink,
Okay,
like,
people who are down.
Yeah. So I think OKPs, Original Key Players, is like, again, like the special going on Netflix is like part of the is part of the battle now. It's like, this was made for people who like this podcast. If you like this podcast, you're going to love the special.
I mean, it's such an amazing, such a funny show.
Thank you.
And we're so honored to be part of it. Me, Sam, and Aileen were like, just, in our own separate group chat, just really excited.
I texted all three of you. I can't thank the Betches enough, but like, it's like, it's surreal. I don't know what to even say. And then
it feels like it's a culmination, right? Of like all of the things that you've been working towards.
That's 13 years in the making. Yeah. It's validating. It's like, and we did You Up with Benefits kind of about the feelings of, not feeling about it not happening and kind of the things that go with it. And like, I know people, I'm inside the comedy world. So it sometimes, my Instagram feed is comedian. Maybe the people listening right now follow 1, 2, whatever it is. So it's not as like, oh, there's a special on Netflix. Like it's not, I see everything that comes out and you get like frustrated and all that stuff. And now
you're in the world,
You're in the world. It feels like a little bit, it's validation and it's
your hard work having paid off. I feel like you've worked so hard for many, many years towards this. So I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. And I'm like, so I tell
it's not like it fell into your lap.
No, I've been on stage legitimately every night for 13 years.
Yes.
Like doing stand-up. And like, listen, stand-up is a world that gets kind of infiltrated by people who just want to be a stand-up and do other things. And they're, people will come to my show. I'd love to go on stage. Stand-up's kind of like, is not really the amount of people before social media, the amount of people who like could tour on their own without by being a stand-up comedian, you could count them on their hand.
Right.
Like you did, like there was very few people that like, it was like
now
Earthquake,
like
Brian Regan, Kathleen Madigan, like there's very small. Now
it's like any reality star.
Right.
Right,
And
yeah.
so that gets frustrating too. So I put a lot of work. I care about stand up. I'm like, now if you come see me live, I have a whole new hour ready to go that has nothing, that is not the special. So if you're out there,
better get that perfected before August 12th
whatever
or whatever it is.
I better be ready to go for Huntington. Those dates are out
Yeah.
there. So
Oh, great.
It's
Okay.
all
I'll be
kinda-
there.
You'll be there. It's all kind of happening. So I tell, and it's weird because it's like, it's happening, but it's not like, it's not like I got, the contracts, all,
Right.
like it's happening, but it hasn't happened. So
It's not official because you haven't signed anything yet, but it's happening.
Right. And it's like kind of like getting in a certain element, like getting engaged.
We're getting engaged. I just haven't had the ring yet, but we're getting engaged.
We went and looked at rings.
Right, yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. Now do you know what a woman feels like when she's like, we went to look at rings. It's been 6 months. I haven't gotten the ring yet.
I totally understand because I call my parents and I go, yeah, I think it's going to happen with Netflix. And my mom's like crying. She just can't believe, oh my God, so excited.
Right.
And then I start getting calls and texts from like people I haven't heard from in years.
Your
like
mom,
my mom's
who's
friend.
texted. Okay.
She has told in the span of an hour, I'm getting text, call, cousins. And I'm going, I can't. I go, can you wait? Like, let's have a little, let's hold back a little. I told you this wouldn't mean, we don't even have promotional stuff out there yet. Like, let it happen.
Right.
Give me a day, And I texted the family group chat. Do you have like names in your family that are like kind of punchlines, but they don't even
like family names, like people that your family knows?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all of my mom's ex-husbands.
Okay.
Well, like we've nicknamed them all.
Okay. So
right.
you have like a name that you could reference that
all
everyone,
of our old stepdads.
right,
Yeah.
would get a laugh.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Growing up, my mom would get alterations at this guy named Fan the tailor.
Okay.
So he's just like
He texted you?
Well, I text my whole family. I go, hey, can we like chill a bit with telling people about Netflix? I just got a text from Fan the tailor. Like,
right.
That was the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it's gotten so big. And
right.
Again,
obscure niche people from our past.
Exactly.
Right. Yes.
And listen, Fan the tailor has his own life and family and all this stuff. But that's
to me, who he is. Right. Yeah.
A joke name that I could use. And I thought the joke was pretty apparent. I go, hey, can we chill out on telling people? I just got a text from Fan the tailor. It's gotten out of control.
That's funny.
My mom, I think it's funny, right? My mom didn't get the joke. She called me and she goes,
I don't know how he knows.
She goes, oh my God, because my aunt Yvonne, she goes, I think Yvonne told Fan. I don't know why he's texting you. I just imagine my mom calling. I was like, I didn't get a text from fucking Fan the tailor. Like, and my mom goes,
joke went over her head. Okay.
Way over and I just imagine my mom calling my aunt going, you called Fan the tailor? What are you doing? Like, just, I don't know. I'm like, how did we get this insane? Like,
everyone's excited.
Everyone's excited. It's like this fun thing happens, hilarity ensues. And like, now.
No, but it's a good point about like telling people, you want to keep it a little contained until you feel like maybe a little safer. But
right, but you can't be half pregnant.
Right.
Well,
that's the thing.
So that's kind of the part of like, when you reveal these things, like we came on here, should we talk about it? I'm like, I can't shut up. I'm gonna tell people.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If they roll it back and say we didn't give it to you,
doesn't come out for another 6 days for subscribers. You can always edit this out.
We can take this out.
Yeah.
And but again, I guess to put a little cap on this. Thank you to the listeners. The support from the people who love this show is like really something I can't imagine, understand. I feel a little bit weird about it. Like,
yeah, it's an amazing community.
Right, it is, because we came on here to talk about dating in a real and fun way, and then you become a part of people's routines, and I understand that. I listen to podcasts too, and it is, this doesn't happen without you, the show, the people here at Betches, everything. So, like, there's so many comedians out there trying to make a name for themselves, and like the idea that like, this group takes me in is like the coolest, wonderful, most wonderful thing in the world. And it really like touches me in a way that I feel weird about.
It touches you in a way you feel weird?
Yeah. Put that on the t-shirt.
Well, we're very excited to be a part of it. Again, I think I speak for everyone at Betches when we say and the whole You Up community is that we couldn't be happier for you.
Listen, and to be like now I'll be the carnival barker. If you're single, If you've dated, if you've had breakups, if you like to eat at night, if you like to get drunk on weekends, if you're someone who grew up in a suburb outside of a major city during the during the 2000s aughts era, this special is made for you.
Yeah.
This is about my life, and we're all 10% away.
I haven't heard anyone who's watched the special who hasn't said it was hysterical and amazing. And so if you guys haven't seen it yet, if you're one of the people who didn't get tickets or it was sold out,
20
this
minutes
is your opportunity. You guys it's going to be great.
There. There's a special treat in the credits.
Special treat.
There's a special
treat. Something's coming.
Something's coming. That's one I won't say.
Okay.
The credits are the most fun to me.
Yes.
But for the
you have to watch to find out.
You got to watch to find out. What else is going on with you, Jordana? Oversharing. I'm a big fan. That's one of my
Thank you.
podcasts. That's become a part of my routine.
Naomi and I will not have a Netflix special, but we are. We have a lot of fun.
There's something there. I don't know what that could be, like adjacent, like a show. Like you guys have a very calming energy, and again, we're going to talk about some like kind of, icky subjects today. You and Naomi have this like really good way of going through these subjects in a way that's like, oh, it's edible.
That is the goal. So if you haven't checked out Oversharing, definitely check it out. But the subject we're going to talk about today, it's funny because as in tune as Naomi is in psychology, she has no idea what's going on in pop culture.
Right.
She's like barely on Instagram, like definitely not like up to date on pop culture news.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to talk about this, and then it was like too much explaining before, but maybe we'll talk about it next week. We'll see.
Right.
But there's a lot to unpack.
Well, again, I start getting asked about these things because it's like we're in the dating world, and like, you see Jonah Hill's texts have been released.
Yes.
And I see that and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to even look. Right. I think that's a lot of like, very male thing of like, whatever.
Well, to be honest, this speaks a little bit to your like greatest fears in some ways. Not that you act at all like Jonah Hill, but just the idea, I think, of someone, airing something that you've done and maybe you don't even know that it's wrong or something like that.
That it
like
affected them in that way.
That's something you've stated before.
Sure.
Like as someone who's a public figure, I'm sure it would make you like just make you feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, I see that. I cringe completely. So before we get into it, we're going to ask the OKPs to kind of do us a little bit of a favor, right?
Let's do it. Yeah. If you guys are listening and you're a fan of the show, which I assume you are unless you're hate listening.
Okay, good for you. Right. We do that too.
We need your help.
Nominations are now open for the 18th Annual Podcast Awards, and we're up for a nomination in the comedy category. All that you need to do is head to the podcastawards.com to register and vote. It only takes a few minutes, but we only have until the end of July. Oh, we got to hurry up.
Yeah, you guys got to get on this.
To get the votes we need. So just go to podcastawards.com to register and vote for You Up in the comedy category. So it's called the People's Choice Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com. Register and vote for the You Up. If you have the time, if you have the whereabouts, if you have the ability, vote for us. Yeah, we want to win this so we can find more great listeners that will enjoy this show, right?
Do it.
That's kind of that's the real reason, right? This is good promotion. This is
good. Get us out there.
Get us out there, right? What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about Jonah Hill's ex-girlfriend and what she posted online.
Okay, so there were two celebrity things. There's Keke Palmer and Jonah Hill.
Right.
And they're basically dealing with relationship texts that have gotten out there.
Yes.
Do we want to read the text? What do we think?
I mean, the Keke Palmer one seems like a little quick and almost like just obviously so douchey that I don't even know how much there is to discuss.
Well, I think they go into the same thing of like, so Keke Palmer's boyfriend tweeted a video of Usher serenading her during his Vegas show. And it's her boyfriend, right? So this is her boyfriend, and she gets serenaded, and he writes, "It's the outfit, though. You a mom." And it's Usher serenading Keke Palmer. Like, I think that's like her boyfriend being a douchebag.
I mean, I just think it's so. I thought it when I first saw that was her ex-boyfriend,
right?
Because I'm like, who would publicly humiliate someone that they were dating like that?
Right, and I guess like there's a way. Again, the way we talk to each other off mic and, when you talk to friends, I guess maybe this could be a joke between them where he's like
Is this a joke? I feel like this was not a joke.
It doesn't come off as a joke, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how you're with this woman, like, how you guys are together, and
That's
you're
what I'm
doing
saying.
this in a public space. How does this happen? Like, what's the most human way this could happen? Do you know what I mean? Like, the inhumane way is like, hey, stop dressing like a whore, you mom.
Right.
Like, that's how it reads.
Is he a mom to her? Is he the father of her child? Yes.
So again, this is all in how we read these. You know what I mean? Like someone could read this and be like, "Oh, you're a mom. Come on."
But even
Or
the
you read
idea
it
that
like,
as a mom you can't wear that is
with
also
you.
crazy.
I agree. I agree. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But I'm like, it's so ridiculous that I have to like, okay, how do I walk this back to see that they're still together after he quote retweets this?
Right. Are they still together? I mean, I guess we don't know what's going on behind
Candace,
the
we don't
scenes,
know.
but
Yeah.
to me that seems like
He started liking tweets defending him. And how women need to have morals and boundaries. Yeah, so I guess that becomes, your likes become your opinion and the tone at a certain point.
because you know they're being seen.
Right. So again, this is like messiness to me. Like maybe you're in an argument at home. Like, I'm thinking of like if my parents were fighting, the idea that there'd be like a passive aggressive tweet from my dad.
Right.
And then him liking all the tweets that agreed with him in whatever tone he was speaking.
It's just such a passive aggressive, not even I guess passive, but it's just like such an aggressive way to show I think it's totally okay if he were to say, I feel a little insecure when you dress like that.
Right. Or in a private room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not on Twitter.
Not on Twitter,
which is actually what's actually going on, right?
Right.
I feel a little insecure when you dress like that. It makes me a little uncomfortable. That's, again, right or wrong, that's the way he feels.
Right.
Fine.
And, but here's the thing, and this is kind of the overall theme of these discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking for teammates. When you go
that's why you tweet anything or thread anything.
Right, thread. Well, everyone wants to find their team. So the internet, you can find anyone that will agree with you, no matter how ridiculous your opinion is. To me, hey, you're a mom, you should dress a certain way, is a ridiculous opinion. Now you go online, you put that online, and you get into the tweets of morality and, oh, you're a mom. Like you find all these these weirdos. When he goes and likes those tweets, it's him going, see, someone agrees. Look at this. And it's all done to make you look like you can't defend your position of like moms can wear whatever the fuck they want.
Right. I mean, just the idea that someone would do that to someone they were currently in a relationship with to like try to rally the internet against them.
Oh,
just seems
I wouldn't want to be in that relationship.
That's crazy to me.
Absolutely nuts. But I think that's the theme, because if we go to the Jonah Hill thing,
right, is
this person, and again, now it's come from, he's from this like male cis, not cis, what's it called? The fucking guys who don't fuck.
Incel.
Incel. He's kind of got like this incel group. The guys who don't fuck. Yeah. Well, he's kind of doing like incels assemble. But Keke's husband is like going, hey, who agrees with me? And it happens to be all these guys that are like in this like women should be wearing that. Fine.
Right.
That's what he's doing. Incels assemble. And he finds these fucking assholes who agree with him, and you go, see, well look at this big group of people who say you're wrong. Now, for the Jonah Hill thing, Jonah Hill, these texts that Jonah Hill sends to his now ex, and the ex releases them.
Yes.
And
could have come on stage, Jonah, for a deal reveal.
Right. I mean, this would be a juicy deal reveal.
Yeah.
Sarah Brady is a pro surfer, and she's also Jonah Hill's ex of 2 years. So they broke up 2 years ago.
Okay, so they dated for like 5 months.
Okay.
Then, right?
And she's a pro surfer.
Yeah, ish.
5 months-ish.
Okay.
And this past weekend, she shared text screenshots calling out his controlling behavior under the guise of boundaries, as well as sharing that they went through the therapy during their relationship. But their former therapist fueled his actions instead of helping to create a safe, equal environment for both of them. Okay, so now...
And this is all, I guess, coupled with the fact that Jonah Hill has this documentary where he interviews his therapist.
Right. So now he's like in the therapy world. I never watched it.
Right.
A lot of people were like, you should watch. I don't give a fuck about Jonah Hill's fucking therapist. Get out of my face. I just don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. And let me also say,
you didn't want to live scream? What was it called? I forgot what it was called.
What is it? Mr. Landers and Me? What is it called? Maury and Me? Tuesdays with Maury? What is it called? I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point.
I forgot what it was called.
Whatever it's called, I don't know. I've heard stories about Jonah Hill for years of just being insecure. Like the idea that he's going to teach me. But I don't know. Every story that comes out about him, like I think
Stutz.
Stutz.
Stutz, yes.
You know, Sundays with Stutz.
Something, whatever,
with
yeah.
Stutz. I don't know. He's my Netflix brother.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear these like public stories about him for years, right? Of him being a little insecure. Like, I've heard these stories before.
I haven't heard anything specifically. I do remember he was like applauded at one point for saying, like, when he lost all that weight, he like tweeted something like, please don't comment on my body, like good, like positively or negatively, just like I prefer you just like not comment on my body.
While I agree with him, I do think if you're saying that like publicly as Jonah Hill,
you're kind of insecure.
Showing your insecurity. Yeah, right.
Which is fine, right? Yeah.
But again, these things that the internet applaud, you know, like are kind of like, right, me too. You're looking for your team. Look at Jonah Hill doesn't want any positive or negative. Like, you know, I remember when Adele lost a bunch of weight, and I was like, you know, and people were going, she looks fantastic. And people were like, you don't say
you're
that.
Saying
you're
she
like,
didn't look good before.
Yeah, it's like,
right?
no, I didn't say that. How about you let me fucking say someone looks great? Obviously, there was effort made to make a change in their life. I'm congratulating on the change they wanted to make.
Right.
Like, there's a way of looking at things that are glass half full, Stanley half full, Stanley half empty. Okay,
yes.
That's our flipper flop this week. So, like, I just, you know, I don't understand that it takes the most miserable person in the world to respond to, hey, you look fantastic with, oh, you didn't think I look good before?
Right.
I just think, and that's my opinion of you. You can disagree and go, well, I have this blanket policy, but you can't control the world around you that way. But again, that story, I remember that story. It brings me back to, guy sounds a little insecure, as am I.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
You
know,
which
like,
is a fine and a relatable thing. So I guess she posts these screenshots, which basically paint him in a very insecure light. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of debate about whether or not these are emotionally abusive.
Well, this is
right.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, something, I guess, to read some of the more.
Do I have to be him?
I guess so.
I'll be him, you be her.
Yeah. Okay.
Plain and simple. If you need. Also, he really, if we look at these texts, the way he formatted.
This looks like a notes app that was then copied and pasted.
Okay.
To
Plain
me.
and simple. Yeah, that's fair. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model is crazy. All of these are crazy.
Yeah.
To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or a coffee or something respectful. I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnerships, my boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust.
Okay.
Oh, and modeling, which is the last profession I would be with as a partner.
And she says, thought pics.
But LOL, must be hard feeling so trapped.
Well, maybe you should have asked me more about what I do for work before you decided to date me then. A little late now.
Keep taking me for granted. Go model. It's a fulfilling life. You'll love it. Real depth and substance and sustainability for relationships, but actually, I'm done with this convo.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, they're all. That's
it goes on and on. I mean, like that's the crux of this conversation.
Yeah.
When I read this, I didn't see the part. I saw only the first like plain and simple part, and I didn't get to the like keep taking me for granted. He sounds like an asshole. Like I don't know, you know, and that's where it gets like.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I think he, like you said, he sounds extremely insecure.
Mm-hmm.
I think if these were worded differently, they would be less emotionally abusive and more vulnerable and more like come off as less fucked up. Like if it was worded like, I know it's kind of I know I'm kind of insecure, but when you're surfing with men or you're posting these pictures, I don't like it. It makes me feel insecure, and I'd prefer if you didn't do that. Because I don't I'm not comfortable with that, and I prefer to be with someone who doesn't do that. And I get maybe you like doing that. We might not be a match if I'm the person who does that. If he phrased it like that, I actually don't think these would be. I think everyone is entitled to want certain things out of their partner, right or wrong.
Right. I agree with you. I think the way you just put it, and if I'm to go into like deal reveal mode, where like, what do I think he's trying to do via these texts? Like, if we put aside the labeling of what it is, what you just did is a person trying to work with someone to make a relationship happen.
Right.
It sounds to me that he was trying to get out of this relationship. It sounds to me that he was like, shaming her. It's
a fucked up way to get out of a relationship.
It's a fucked up way to get out of a relationship, but it sounds like he was, because he's being mean. Like if someone's like,
he's making it like a negative personality trait about her instead of owning it as as something that he needs to work on.
It sounds like my parents when I would want to go do a sleepover growing up. Who wants to sleep over? Who does that? My parents used to do that all the time. You want to go on a sleepover at someone else's house? I'm like, yeah, people do sleepovers all the fucking time. Why am I the weirdo? In the same way, she's like, he's going, you want to be a model?
Right. Like, you're such a loser that you like this.
Yeah,
right.
That's
I guess you feel secure, like you feel validated, and you feel like great about yourself from doing that. That'll be great for you.
Yeah, good for you. It's like, there's other people that have long-lasting careers as models.
Right.
So he's
not saying what's really the issue with her modeling. It's not that she's that he doesn't find this to be like a worthwhile endeavor. It's that he's a fucking loser and he's insecure.
Right.
And he doesn't and he gets jealous, I assume.
This is the problem. This is where, again, like, there are levels to this. You and I are on the same page. Mm-hmm. He sounds like an insecure loser. Where do we lose each other? Maybe, but you haven't even said this yet, but like the idea of calling this emotional abuse.
Right.
I understand why people put it in that bucket because it helps serves them. They go, I've been spoken to. When you go out to the internet, again, to bring this back around, you're looking for your team. So there are people that read this and they go, this is the languaging that kept me in this shitty relationship. It's emotionally abusive. I go, well, I don't know. To me, and again, this is where these things become icky, and I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a professional. Right. I'm a guy giving an opinion that you would talk to at a bar or at a pool or a beach and amongst friends. I'm having the same conversation with you right now that I would have with friends, where I could be wrong and that's okay. And I can't believe I'm even prefacing with that. But that's what you have to do on the internet, because I go, when I hear emotionally abusive, I go, well, what does he hold over her to make her have to stay in this relationship other than him?
Right. Although I guess one could say that about like someone who's physically abusive. Like, why do people stay in relationships where they're being like, why didn't they just leave? So I do understand the extent of someone's like, okay, they're emotionally manipulating the person into like allowing them to treat them this way. That I do understand it that way. Although, like, where's the line between this person's just like an asshole and you should have like, you know what I mean? Like knowing your own boundaries, and this person's like dangerous. I think like emotionally abusive implies that he's like dangerous.
Well, that's the thing where you go, if they had kids together and he's speaking like this, like you go, well, I got to stay for the kids. Like I got to deal with this because of the kids.
Right.
And again, I guess I didn't think of it that way, where it's like, why, I would disagree with someone being like, you can't leave someone who's physically abusive. Like I wouldn't understand that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? This becomes more understandable to me because I'm like, it's just shitty language from someone who's very insecure, who you could leave any day. It's not like they pay your rent. It's not like they, like.
Well, the other thing about this, which does feel like a little bit of a double standard, and again, I'm not like hating on women or defending him necessarily, but it's interesting on an oversharing episode that actually is out. It came out at this point, if you're a subscriber today or yesterday. There's a woman who writes in and she says, my cousin is 21 years old and she posts like very sexual pictures of herself on Instagram, and I don't want my boyfriend looking at those pictures. So I've asked him to like mute her. Mm-hmm. And then she finds out the cousin wasn't muted and they get into a big fight about that. And so like one could say, I guess,
that's
if one
crazy scenario. Well, I'm saying if one looks
like, would I look at her and say, you're a monster for trying to control what he's looking at on Instagram? No. But like, in the same way, I'm not like, Jonah Hill, you're a monster. I'm just kind of like, you're a very insecure person. Just like, again, you could call this woman emotionally abusive, potentially, for trying to like, for getting mad that someone is looking at something or trying to control them or trying to control their internet presence, which to an extent, I think both of these things are two people who are revealing their insecurities by trying to, but if they're not really like they're not addressing them head on. They're trying to like manipulate the other person, and it's a way to like make them self-soothe. When like if they were in a really healthy relationship, what they would say, there's a difference between emotionally abusive and unhealthy relationship. I would say definitely unhealthy relationship here.
Absolutely.
Just like the woman in the oversharing email.
Right.
So, but I think like in a healthy relationship, you can say, when I see you looking at pictures of my cousin, the fact that I know that you're looking at pictures of your cousin makes me feel insecure. I'm worried that you're gonna leave me for someone that's hotter than me, or I don't feel like I'm pretty enough for you.
Right.
Or in the Jonah Hill's case, when you're surfing with men, I get anxious that you're gonna be cheating on me.
You know what's interesting, and I'm kind of just like, while we're talking about this, realizing this is like, everyone that was commenting that he's emotionally abusive was coming from the perspective that he was trying to keep her.
Right.
You're
coming from like he's trying to get rid of her.
He's trying to get rid of her.
Why not just break up with her? This seems like that seems less fucked up than saying all this shit to her. Also, as a celebrity, where you must know in the back of your head that everything you write is potential. And I do think it's fucked. Personally, I do think it's fucked up that she aired these texts.
I think it's fucked up.
I don't think he's right, but I don't think that the punishment fit the crime. Personally,
right. I mean, this is again, like, it is...
Because I do think if anyone looked at any of the texts from all of our previous relationships and they found the worst things that we said to someone, and they were all cropped,
organized for
and
us,
just including the things that the other person said.
Right.
I do think most of us would get a lot of internet outrage as well. So I don't think that... I think when you're in a relationship with someone, and I think this is a little bit different than being like physically abused or needing to warn someone, or if you're being sexually abused or something like that. Right. I think that's like a different level. I think this goes in the category of this guy is an asshole, don't want anything to do with him, but I don't think that what she was doing was a healthy response.
No.
Personally.
I'm with you. I think I saw this and I was like, ugh, fucking loser. And he seems like he just wants to win an argument on his way out. Like, okay. And you want to be a model? Fuck you. You know, like, this is his way of like getting her.
You think he was doing this so she would break up with him?
I think he was doing this to be like, I'm going to be mean to you. And
hopefully you leave.
Hopefully you go, well, fuck it. He's
that seems like a very dangerous game for a celebrity to play.
Right. The more I think about it, the more ridiculous it gets. No, but it's because you look at this and you go, he basically, her whole profession, like, dude, you're an actor.
Right. And the other part of it was like they met because he was like basically responding to these slightly sexual pictures that he doesn't like.
That's what brought him in.
Right.
So that's why he's probably so fearful. Candace.
And she's a professional surfer.
She's a pro surfer. So like the swimsuit photos,
it's her whole career.
Right. So I get what she's
dominated industry. Like that's a lot of like the backlash of you reached out to her because you both surf. Like that started hitting on her. And then went through all of her photos and asked her to take them all down.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's like the guy who's like really worried about someone cheating. It's like he's usually the cheater. You know, like, oh, I got here via your DMs. What about these other people who might get here via your DMs? That's an insecure person. Yeah. I guess that comes back to the emotionally abusive thing because you're like, I'm going to control you into shutting that door that I got here from, I guess.
Right. But that to me is kind of like someone saying like, well, we met because I was cheating on my partner with you, and that's why we're together. So you can't care about the fact that if I cheat or not. Right. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily like a reason why he can't be. I don't think there's anything wrong if he's like, I don't want to date someone who posts pictures of themselves, sexual pictures of themselves online. I don't necessarily agree with that stance, but if that's his preference, you're allowed to prefer whatever you want. But I don't, and if maybe again, I think it's a little hypocritical to be like, that's the way you're sort of hitting on someone. Mm-hmm. But I think you're allowed to not like something in dating. I don't have any issue with that. I think it's the way that he's phrased it.
Again, and what people do is they put themselves in the shoes and they bring this. Everyone makes it about them. Everyone makes it about them. So they see this and they go, well, I like to post these. So he's saying that I'm a lesser person. Now Jonah Hill thinks I'm a thought, so to speak. And you're like, okay, you look at Jonah Hill a little differently now than you did yesterday. That's okay. I'm with, it's funny because like this conversation, listen, I've been in relationships where you go, hey, you can say to someone, hey, you and that guy kind of felt like you were flirting. That's a different conversation than, please stop hanging with the women who have bad lifestyles, who flirt with men, and it's totally different.
That's what I'm saying. It takes no responsibility or no vulnerability in terms of speaking about your own part in this, your own insecurities in this.
Right, and he never wants. I mean, again, the reason like I saw this text and I was like, just leave him. I'm like, why would he's not again, we always say this, relationships are negotiations. The minute someone's not negotiating with you, is just giving, fucking dictator, rules, the rules of the house, like, I'm leaving the fucking
toxic.
House. That's toxic. It's horrible. Yeah.
Right. No, I think it's a very toxic relationship. I think they're two toxic people. He seems very toxic. Right. And she, by nature of putting these texts up, I actually think is also toxic. Potentially unpopular opinion. I don't think she's like, I don't think she's like warning all of Jonah Hill's future. He's already got like a baby. Like, what does she do? She's saying that the behavior isn't normal. I think everyone knows that.
Right. And this kind of goes, now he's married, he's having a kid, or he's got a kid.
He has a kid, yeah.
He's going to have a kid with another woman. And, that woman probably would go, I don't know, this isn't even the person I know. Everyone's a fuckboy until they're your dad.
Right.
Like everyone's a piece of shit. I don't know.
I just think it's a slippery slope to say that it's every ex's right to just put up any private messages that you have between. This isn't a random person that he DM'd online, which I also don't think is cool unless you're Adam Levine and you're asking your mistress if you could name your kid after them. But
I can't believe that's a real story.
Right.
I can't believe you said that.
But these people are like in a relationship. I think there's something about like an inherent privacy agreement of two people in a relationship. That's not to say that his texts are okay. But I just don't. I think it seems more vengeful and toxic on her part than like something that's actually going to really be helpful for people.
It's funny because like, it's this. I mean, it's not funny. This isn't funny. But it's like, it's just, it's a wild thing that is in the, the releasing. There's an itch that gets scratched. Everyone's looking to have an itch scratched where it's like, look at these texts and everyone goes, look at that fucking piece of shit. And you go, yeah.
That guy's worse than me.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And then, he goes out, and then again, I'm sure, Keke Palmer's,
I don't understand how they're still together. That's crazy to me.
But he gets an itch scratched. Someone's like, yeah, mom should be wearing mom shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, even that's a great example too. It's like, is there nothing sacred? This is like the mother of your child. Like you're trying to like turn the internet against her.
No, well, that's worse than wherever you
have a private conversation about the way her outfits make you feel. Like, fine. Again, you're entitled to feel whatever you want, but it doesn't mean
old school arguments in public. Like you want to have not on Twitter. Let's do some awkward sex.
Let's do it.
UUP at Betches.com, UUP at Betches.com. Let's get right into it. Okay. Well, I like that they said let's get right into it. People are writing this now.
Look at that.
Hey, JJ,
maybe we should make a shirt.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
It's a good shirt. I met this woman on OkCupid.
Condoms that say that.
Ooh,
let's get right into it.
I like that. I met this woman on OkCupid around 2010. We'd been dating a while when she revealed she was into BDSM, especially submission. After that, we started experimenting with various forms of rough sex and bondage. One of the things we tried was handcuffs. We got some toy handcuffs from a sex shop and tried them out. The sex was hot, but the handcuffs were very obviously a toy, and it made it feel kind of silly and took me out of it a bit. Yeah, I guess if they're like policeman cuffs that are plastic, like...
Yeah, you could be like, this feels kind of stupid.
Right, I can get out of these.
Right.
I decided to take the things to the next level and sprung for some legit police-grade handcuffs. When they arrived, I showed them to her, and she was into it. We had sex using the new cuffs, and it was qualitatively hotter and for both of us. Yeah, the Fisher-Price ones.
Prime Day. He was like, I'm getting a real pair of handcuffs this year.
It was qualitatively hotter for both of us knowing that she was truly cuffed and couldn't get out without the key. Once we finished, I, of course, went to let her out. Of course, like a gentleman.
Thank you.
I got the key and opened one cuff. When I went to unlock the second one, somehow it didn't work. She impatiently grabbed the key from me and forcefully started trying to unlock it herself. It didn't work. The cuff was stuck on her left wrist. Once we accepted the key wouldn't unlock it, we started trying to come up with other solutions. We'll cut your hand off.
It's an amputation.
Right. I Googled how to escape from police handcuffs and was considering trying to get a special saw blade that supposedly could cut through the metal. But it was 10 p.m. on a Sunday. No store was open. What store is open at night?
With a blade.
Right.
With a saw.
We sell cuff blades.
Home Depot?
Right. We decided to go to the fire department. Surely they deal with situations like this all the time. When we got there, they seemed a bit caught off guard. Really?
Nothing they haven't seen before, I'm sure.
The other line is for sexual endeavors, for us cutting
it's for
through.
Sex pickles.
Right. We use the jaws of life over here for cars. When we got there, a bit cut off guard, I think they are not used to having their rescues come to them. They let us in and quickly, and we were surrounded by a bunch of burly, bemused firemen, each trying to help her get the cuff off with the key and various types of bolt cutters. Eventually, the most jacked of all got a special pair of bolt cutters from his car. Still not sure why he had high-end bolt cutters in his car. And then, after a mighty struggle, he was able to cut through the cuff, sparing my girlfriend the humiliation of having to go to work Monday morning with a handcuff hanging off her wrist.
That seems like a good reason to call in sick.
Right. Yeah, I think we can use those PTOs.
Why are you wearing mittens, Beth?
Well, I have a little bit of a kink. That was the first time and last time we used police-grade handcuffs. If anyone's still interested to try, we found we could get the same truly cuffed experience using zip ties. Oh,
smart.
Good to know.
Just a little scissor.
And you don't need bolt cutters and superhuman strength to cut off zip ties afterwards. Fast forward to today, we're happily married with 2 kids.
That's so cute.
Oh, we put the sex swing in the kids' toy room. No, okay. We even saw you guys live this summer. Thanks for all you do, and a special shout out to the Philadelphia Fire Department for saving the day. What a fine tale. These two have a sexual chemistry, and
yeah, they both, like the same thing. It's funny. It's good. It got a little dangerous. That probably added to it a little bit.
Right. And it's the teamwork aspect of it. Hey, we went to the fire department together.
They made it their problem. That's why they're still together.
Right. Jonah Hill would have been like, you
go.
Good luck.
Yeah. And make sure you put on a coat.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anyone seeing your wrist, bare wrist.
This is the fun part about when these things get released. It becomes not fun when someone's like, emotionally abused. I know there are problems. There are bigger problems in the world that this could be connected to, but it's fun to make fun of Jonah Hill. Like, I saw a few of those memes, like where it would be like, oh, not Jonah. Oh, someone put it out. Ella Orlando. She's very funny comic. And it was like Kim Kardashian, that stalking thing she wore to the Met Gala a few years ago, where she's fully covered. It was like Jonah Hill's
girlfriend.
Yeah, something like that. It was funny.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, we can make fun of him.
Right. But on this subject, what do you think of this?
I think this guy's a keeper.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What if someone cuffed you and then you
got
cuffed?
Stuck? I've had this. I've been in this situation.
We're stuck?
Not stuck.
Real police grade?
I do understand what he's talking about with like the fake, the Fisher-Price cuffs don't really do it for you. It takes you out of it.
I can imagine.
Right. You're like, what is this?
And it breaks before you even get it on.
Right. Ooh, got me. Right. You have to like hold your hands together. This is fun. Like, this is like all fun and games. Like, to me, this is like
there's a real key.
Hot. Have you ever been tied up? You ever done this?
I haven't. No? But it sounds fun.
It's fun.
Maybe next Halloween.
I think Halloween, you turn into a different version of yourself. That's a cool thing. I do think with them getting married, I think that it makes sense to like meet on OkCupid, then like there is a vulnerability of being like, you like that? Oh, I'll do that.
How do you discover that? I guess you have an open conversation, just like Sex with Emily would have said.
Absolutely. Write it down on a piece of paper, slide it to each other like you're negotiating.
Right.
You're like, oh, you want that and
Cuffs.
that? Cuffs and that?
I call it cuffing season.
I love that name. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Candace had no cuffs attached. I didn't have one. This is the 1 week.
That's okay.
I came fully unprepared this week. I gotta.
Well, the audience appreciates that. Listen, you have a Netflix special. You don't need to do shit anymore.
I don't need you people anymore.
You're barely even coming here anymore.
I just show up. I showed up on a Netflix float.
You're gonna get a hat that says Netflix. I have a Netflix special. Don't look me in the eye.
Do not bother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spesh.
Huffy Cuffy.
Oh, I like that.
Huffy Cuffy.
I like that.
I wish I had more.
Cuffing season. I mean, it sort of like screams at me that way.
Cuffing season's great. Let's do another email.
All right. Hi, J&J, Feather, and all the rest. I went to the Boston show with a coworker, guy friend, who was visiting and had a great time there. However, right after the show, my friend told me that I was the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, and then that he really admired me. Oh no, you can't use the word admired.
Admired. That's a. I'm looking to not be friends word.
That's what you tell your professor. Yeah.
Do you?
I admire your work.
I
don't know.
Professor?
Seems like that. And he really liked me. He has really liked me for a while now. Okay.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
For context, I'm 25 female. About 2 months ago when he was here for work, we had a discussion about how he may have liked me and put me on a pedestal. What does that fucking mean? I may like you.
Wow, we're not having sex with anyone else, but we're not in a relationship yet. We all try to find ways to inch away from
your real feelings, right?
From getting hurt,
Yeah. And I thought I squashed anything between us when I told him that I didn't like him. Apparently not. I mean, we are coworkers after all, so one must have a little tact while navigating this in the workplace. We became friends last August. Since about the new year, we would message a lot at work and text fairly regularly. That being said, I thought we were just becoming close friends, and I enjoyed our friendship. We even talked about our dating lives and preferences, so I thought he would have taken the hint. I do have to say that I think it would be odd to bring a male, a coworker who has expressed romantic interest in you to a show about dating, sex, and relationships.
Right.
And think that wouldn't possibly get a little weird. I do have to say, in his defense, I do think
a little Jonah Hillish of you.
Potentially. Am I the problem? It's me. It might be. Am I? Am I a predator?
Listen. This
I
is
just
an
think it's an odd
intervention.
choice. I think it's just
we haven't even been filming.
I just think it's an odd activity choice, personally.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna talk about our shows, I think our shows are great for couples because again, the
established
couple. But us talking about the cuffs just now, BDSM. That is an uncomfortable thing to even bring up with a partner. That you even said, how does that come up?
Right.
Well, we were listening to the You Up podcast together, and we're in the car, and Jared said he's been locked up. So now my husband looks at me and goes, would you do that? Our shows, this podcast is entree to uncomfortable conversations with someone you're sitting with. So again, I could understand why he's sitting in the room. We're at the Boston show or wherever, Boston show, and we're like, doing red flag deal breakers, and now you're talking about relationships and dating, and he's like, we get along so well. Why wouldn't, maybe I'm having, now we're talking about dating and we're talking about sexual stuff. Maybe, we work together, but we're off for work property.
Right, but he already said something to her, which is why I just think it's like, if he said to me, if someone at work declared their love, that they may like me, so they said they may like me, I would be like, all right, it's time for a break. I'm
with you.
Not like there's a show about dating and relationships. Sometimes they talk about hooking up with coworkers. Like, let me go to that.
Well, it seems like there was some space between his admission. Then they text a bunch, and then they came to the show.
Okay, it was 2 months ago. Fine. Okay, so fine.
To me, it's a naivete of the male mind and ego. And listen, again, I'll speak for men. That's all I can. I can speak for myself. She's still talking to me. Men aren't sitting there. Well, Well, she doesn't. And even she wrote in her email something very important. I mean, we are coworkers after all, so one must have little tact while navigating this in the workplace. If she said that as a part of why she won't date him,
right?
Now that's a caveat. Well, it's the work thing. It's not that she's not attracted.
I thought
to me
she was just saying that to us, though.
She might be. I'm just saying she said it.
She said to him, "I don't like you," though. She said,
listen, if it was plain and simple, I don't like you, but then you do everything someone who likes me does, text with me every night, and oh, okay. Maybe she's come around.
Right. It's so funny how like women are paying so much more attention to words than maybe they should, and men are paying so much more attention to actions than maybe they should.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know what I mean? As a woman dating, I think I was like, he said he wants to hang out he wants to go to this concert next month. Like he said it's like, you're not really looking at the actions, and men are like, well, she hasn't, thrown all my shit in the garbage, so she must still like really love me.
Right. And you're told as a guy, like, I like funny guys. Oh, I gotta get to know them first.
Right.
The rules of attraction apply here. He's going, well, the rules say.
I guess I'll grow on her.
Men do that. The friend zone is a thing. Like, I'm in the friend zone. How do I get out of the friend zone?
I just feel like if I told someone that I like them and they said they didn't like me, I would that would be enough of a hint.
Well, I would go hang out with my actual friends from there.
Right.
I wouldn't want to hang out with someone who does, this idea of, oh, now we're friends after you told me you didn't like me. To me, I'm like, that's embarrassing.
I agree. I wouldn't want to be like hanging out with that person.
Right. How'd you guys meet? Well, I was trying to fuck her, and then she was like, no.
Well,
and then I was like, oh, cool. I guess we're just going to hang here and I'll be fucking loser.
It's weird because you kind of do hear stories sometimes like that. I wasn't into him at first. And then,
well, listen, that story gets told to you by your own girlfriend.
Right.
I have had women say that to me while fucking me. At first I didn't like you. You're this big douchebag. I listen to your podcast. You sound like a big piece of shit. You took Jonah Hill's side. Which is not what happened. And
I'm the one they're gonna come for.
Right. Yeah. So we'll find out our opinions on Reddit after this.
We will.
No, but I'm saying you do hear these stories, and I'm not blaming. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm blaming women. Like, that's how you get attracted to someone. He's kind of like tracking that a little bit.
Right. Well, let me finish the email, I guess. She goes, anyway, after talking for God knows how long outside the tea.
Oh, no.
We decided, she sounds like she hates,
talk.
She kind of sounds like she hates this guy.
Right.
God knows how long. After it was probably like 3 minutes. We decided to go full no contact from here on out, since that would be the easiest on him. I agree with that method.
I'm with you.
For context, he's quitting the firm soon to go off to grad school, and I guess he didn't want to just do the slow fade. I guess I could see that, where he's like, let me just shoot my shot one more time. I'm leaving. I got nothing to lose. I did make it extremely clear, though, that if he did want to remain friends, I have not had and will never have romantic feelings towards him. This must have been a fun conversation.
This must have been fun for whoever was next to them waiting for the tea.
Right.
Can you imagine listening in? This is the one that
don't
you want.
Like you, never have, never will.
Someone with one headphone out. They're just like... No,
that's the dream.
That is the dream, to be next to this conversation.
Since this is not the first time that a coworker has caught feelings for me, here's my question. Why does this keep happening? Is there anything I can do to get ahead of this? I can't assume and then say I don't reciprocate, since that could make me look like a fool if I assume incorrectly, especially since we're coworkers and apparently my hints are ineffective. I always get excited that I made a new guy friend and then I find out that he just liked me or wanted to hook up. Can I ever be friends with a guy who isn't gay or isn't in a relationship?
This is a tricky one because I read this and it puts me in a position to sound really bad.
Let's hear
this
it.
Conversation gets infiltrated by pieces of shit.
Let's hear what you got to say, Jonah.
As a chubby, insecure guy like Jonah, because what happens in this conversation is like, well, maybe you're a flirt. Like, I don't want to be here blaming her.
Right.
She says this keeps happening. And when I hear that, I'm like, it keeps happening. You have to admit two to tango.
Yeah, I think she's probably very outgoing, which comes off as flirty, which is, again, if that's her personality, that's fine. But this is sort of something that comes along with that. People may think that you're interested. Like, I don't understand why she wants guy friends so specifically.
That's where I get a little bit untrusting of the emailer.
Like, does she like the attention to an extent? Potentially.
This is the douchebaggery response that kind of falls into this conversation. I think
she sounds a little bit like a douchebag too, because she's like, all these guys, I just can't even be friends with a guy without him falling in love with me.
Right.
It's like,
right. And it's like,
is this that big of a problem?
well, again, to go back to the beginning of the email, you told him, I don't like you, and then continued to talk to someone you knew. What did you think? I don't like you meant they go, oh, I guess I don't like you anymore too.
Right.
You know, like that's not how feelings work. You don't like me? I guess I'm freed of liking you. Like the spell has been broken. No, you need a cooling off period. You need to become friends naturally.
Right.
Like and honestly, workplace friends, not natural. You're locked in a fucking room with this person. You have to make eye contact. Of course they're gonna think like, oh, she might be into me. You know, you get these false reads on people.
Yeah, I think she might have to admit that she leads people on a little bit, potentially. I think going to this show, again, I'm going back to the beginning of this email, deciding to go to this show with someone who has expressed that they are interested in you romantically, to me means you're not necessarily thinking how this might make the other person feel. The way that you're acting might be giving a mixed signal to this person.
They were the only friend you could call. Do you know, like, and again, like she says, we were texting, you know, we became friends last August since about the new year. We would message a lot at work and text fairly regularly. Like, you're getting something out of receiving a text.
Yeah.
Any text you get is like getting a gift. You open it up, you see what's inside. It is exciting to receive a text from anyone. You know, I've done this, looking through, why do I keep up these conversations with people I never plan on hanging out with or meeting?
It's a little jolt of adrenaline.
It feels kind of good. And that's icky to admit. Like, you know, maybe you don't need to text back the person that you have no interest in.
Especially when they've already said that they are interested in, like when it's so clear on the other end. Like if I would be like almost not wanting someone to text me if I admitted that I had feelings for them and they said they weren't interested, I would kind of want them to back away, I think.
And for that reason, I'm out. You know, you have to have a definitive, like, and for that reason, I'm gonna back away for a little bit. Like, I appreciate that, and I'm flattered. You can be flattered and go, well, good luck with everything. I think we should stop talking for a bit.
Right. I do think it's the responsibility of the person that is less interested to back away from the other person. And I've talked about this as it relates to like situationships that I've entailed where guys have done this, and I think it's fucked up, where it's like, you know, we always have fun together. Well, it's like, well, I've told you that I want something different than that.
Right.
So like,
I've been guilty of that. You know, I'm not above that. You know, I'm not, you know, I don't think most people are. Like, it's nice to feel liked, but you have to go, let this fucking bird fly. You know, like you're a distraction for them.
Otherwise, you're kind of using
more
people
seriously than you are. Like, you fit this into your convenient schedule in life, but you're an inconvenience for them.
Right. And then to phrase it as like a problem for you, to me, seems like a little like egotistical. Like how is like I have this huge problem. I just can't be friends with a man without him being obsessed with me.
Right. And that's what happens with, you know, these conversations that get brought up. It becomes not trustworthy when they're like, can men be friends with women? Yeah, they can. You're listening to a friendship right now. Mm-hmm. You know, like you know, you and I are we?
Are you right? Totally. Yeah.
Okay. I guess maybe we're just business acquaintances. No, but we're friends.
Right.
Like the idea, like, can it happen? Yes, but
this is a different circumstance, though. The person has like been very blunt about.
You strip the nuance from it when you title it. Can men and women be friends without the sexual attraction? Well, yeah, but one had a sexual attraction to you and admitted to it.
Yeah, and I think there's a boundary.
Totally, and
as Jonah would say,
you have to You ready to play some games?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
We are playing Thirsty or Nah, sponsored by the innovative food and drinkware company Stanley. Whether you're headed to a summer picnic in the park or to the beach with friends, Stanley Quencher H2.0 flow state tumbler made from 90% recycled stainless steel is essential for your summer hydration. Before we get into the game, if you're watching on YouTube, we have these Stanley mugs. Oh, is that a mug?
It's like a water. I would call it a water bottle, but I guess you could put coffee in there too. It keeps the temperature either hot or cold.
I love it. To cross promote the special, I have a whole joke about these types of water bottles. I have a whole bit about it and how you got your hydration for the day.
I mean, I have to say, I have been pushing for these water bottles, for these Stanley water bottles for, I think, like over 6 months, because I'm like, I need something to drink. We talk a lot on this podcast. I don't know if you guys have noticed. And I get thirsty.
Shut the fuck up.
And there's nothing that's big enough that will last me the entire show. But the Stanley cups, they're like amazing.
I love it.
They're huge.
I like watching women hold it like it's their baby.
It feels like a security blanket for me.
It really does.
Yeah.
It does add a sense of security. I love that. And here's the other thing. When you have the goal of drinking a bottle like this, you finish the goal. Mm-hmm. We all want to drink more water. We all want to get more liquids in our system. So, no, listen, some would call me a hater. I in general, like I talk a lot of shit.
You're a critic.
A critic.
Yeah.
Critical eye.
Sure.
I'm a huge fan. I'm in.
As am I. I have like
Stanley
3 at
season.
home also.
You have 3 at home?
Yeah.
Do you decorate yours? People decorate theirs.
I'm not like a decorative girlie, as they call them.
It didn't take you as a decorative girlie.
I have one for like every room of my house. So I don't, cause, I mean, they're
never without.
Yeah, they're great. And then I can always, again, when I'm recording at home, I have them. I get very thirsty.
And I like that we went with a formal look, black on black with silver. We can wear these to, a black tie event.
Yes.
We can bring these with us anywhere. So we're going to play thirsty or nah. And we have a few scenarios to determine whether someone's being too thirsty, meaning are these date moves over eager to the point of weird, or nah, they're not that thirsty. Could it lead to a relationship? We're going to see.
Let's find out.
So are these thirsty or nah?
Nah.
Okay. Let's get into it. You
Find
ready?
out. Okay.
She adds you to her close friends while you're in the talking stages. I was talking to a girl on Hinge. We followed each other on social media. Then she added me to her close friends. This has happened to me twice now, and I got into a debate with my friends about whether or not that's a red flag. So what do you think? Thirsty or not? They add you to their close friends even though you've never met in person.
I think it's weird. I think it's kind of annoying to add someone on Instagram when you haven't met in person, just generally.
Right.
I think that's a little bit of a thirsty move.
I think men do it a lot to like add another barrier to like, do I want to go on this date? So I can understand from the female side.
Is the barrier like, oh, I want to see more pictures?
I want to see some more pictures.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just still trying to convince myself here. It adds another layer of I don't want to have to ask on the date, so I'll ask to like friend on social media so that like,
yeah.
It adds more time, gives me more time to make my decision. I'm dealing with other women right now. I'm looking to be casual. Those are all reasons to be connected on social media.
I get doing that. And I mean, I think for women, they can do that too. Like I've been turned off by someone's social media presence to make me not want to go on a date with them.
Listen, I mean,
similarly.
Many women are nodding in agreement after seeing mine. So I get that. But I think the close friends maneuver from this point of view, would you understand the idea that like it sounds like this is a male listener, or it might be a female listener, but I'm saying sometimes I've noticed you get in the close friends list because they want you to see their story.
Are you more likely to see the story if you're a close friend?
I would assume.
It gets pushed up algorithm like
pushed up, and also like if they're like opting you into this close friend group.
Okay.
Like you're gonna see something that maybe they're looking for you to see. Hey, I'm out.
Right.
Are you going to get in touch?
So someone does this to you. Would you be like
not too thirsty?
Not too thirsty
No,
for
it's
you.
a nah. They're playing the game. They're into me a little bit. They're excited about me. I don't see this as thirsty at all. I just see it as like, okay, I'm in this group of people that they want seeing that they live a full, happy life.
Okay. I think it's a little thirsty.
Okay.
But I don't know that I would be out, but I do think it's kind of thirsty. I'm like, I don't really like, I think it's one thing if you're dating and you want to keep your profile open, but I don't really like the following before we know each other.
I understand keeping that
Follow
boundary.
means something to me.
Hear that, people? That's why Jordana hasn't followed you back.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I kind of see it as this like, oh, I guess I'm in that group. Like there was an extra thought put in that I'm like, what's the game being played? But it's not too thirsty.
Right. It's funny. It's kind of like reminds me of Snapchat with like, you'd send the mass, like you put it on your Snap story versus sending an individual snap.
Right.
Back in the day.
And then, I just did the first 10. People would always say, yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
Right. Except it means everything.
There you go. All right. So I'm saying thirsty. All right. They trick you into giving your number and texting by borrowing your phone. My old roommate used to use this move whenever she wanted to get a guy to ask her out, but didn't want to come off as desperate to ask him for his number.
Give me your phone.
She would call her phone, start talking to the guy, then text him thanks after she leaves. She actually got a couple of dates this way, but I could never bring myself to try it.
I don't understand the process here. She would call her own phone from their phone?
My thing is like maybe she's pretending to lose her phone and then like, oh, can I call my phone from your phone?
It's cutesy.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I'm not above it.
I'm not above it because, listen, you get to make a decision later on whether you want to go on a date with this person. And I don't think it's about how they got your number as much as it's like, oh, was I into it? Were they cool? Like this wouldn't be thirsty to me.
Well, what I like about it is that it's still making the other person do the work to find out if they're truly into you. Because by you texting them thanks, like if they are going to ask if they want to see you again, they still have to initiate.
They got all the tools to build the house of a date.
Right.
Is what you've given them. Like
more than a hookup,
right.
I think.
And so, some people, they're like, just the idea of like, hey, I want to go on a date with you is thirsty. This to me is like not thirsty at all.
You're like inviting them to ask you out.
Right.
I like it.
I like it. Nah. All right, let's do one more.
Okay.
They buy you concert tickets. There's a guy I know at school who is friends of a friend. He asked my friend for my number. I told her she could give it to him. Then he sent me a text message that said, hey, I have an extra ticket to see Taylor Swift. Do you want to go with me?
Ooh, hot ticket.
Ooh, this isn't just any ticket. This is T Swift.
This is the
ticket of the summer. Now, mind you, I'm well aware that nobody just has an extra ticket to the Eras Tour. But obviously, I want to go. So I wrote back, are you sure there isn't anyone else you would want to take? And he says, actually, I just bought the tickets hoping you would go with me.
That is a strong move.
I mean, he better be in love with you.
So
I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan.
She knows the guy. There's a guy I know at school who's a friend of a friend. Okay, so she's met him before.
So
that context helps.
It helps because she even writes, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. And that's no secret.
I want to know what that means.
Everyone knows.
I have Taylor Swift tattooed on my forehead.
Right. Everyone knows this about me. The whole school. Oh, that's Taylor Swift's biggest fan. Yeah. So my friend probably told him that's what I'm into. That'd be weird of the friend. And she loves Taylor Swift. Hint, hint, college kid, buy a $5,000 ticket. I don't think that's how it went. But this still felt like he came on a little strong. What do you think? Is this just a bold move on his part? Or should I run the other way? What do you think? Thirsty or nah?
I mean, I think I would go.
You would go?
I would go.
First date, Eras Tour?
Okay, well, it's kind of like depends if I'm like,
would you even have fun?
I think if I was like the slightest bit into him, like if I thought it was like maybe it could go somewhere, I would go.
No, I
Taylor
guess
Swift. Those are expensive.
I know. I keep thinking like the type of loser who thinks they need to impress me in such a way that they have to buy a concert ticket to the biggest concert of the summer that they know I'm fans of. Like, I can't have a fun time with this person. I just can't imagine.
I cannot possibly imagine having a good time with this thoughtful person who really wants to see me.
Well, it's not thoughtful.
It's not thoughtful. They know she's a huge Taylor Swift fan.
You don't think this is very, this correlates highly to the, like, too fancy a first date thing?
I mean, I would feel maybe more pressure to put out. I'll give you that. Took me
You're
to
throwing on the cuffs.
I did get asked on a date once, a second date. I was taken to the Billy Joel concert. I'm not like a huge Billy Joel fan, but I'm not a Billy Joel fan.
Right.
As most people would describe themselves.
I think that's a big description, especially in New York. You know, New York is like Billy Joel concerts. Like,
he must have had he was there all the time.
He's always at Madison Square Garden.
It's a little less intense than this.
Yeah, it's Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden is like. It's kind of like, going to a Jimmy Buffett concert. Like, it's just like, oh, we're doing the
thing. It's a rite of
It's
passage.
it's kind of like a thing you'd be like, oh, I got to do that once in my life. That to me is less than Taylor Swift. Okay, the bigness of this tour, it's going to go down as the largest tour ever in the world. The history of the world.
She's made a ton of money.
Billion, they're saying. To me, it's like very reminiscent of to me, this feels like reminiscent. I don't know if it's the right word, but it feels like the ex-boyfriend who's in the wedding pictures.
Because she'll always remember this with this guy. I mean, she knows him. It's not like she's like, if it was like a Hinge date that I'd never met and they're just like texting me and I wrote something about Taylor Swift in my profile and they bought the tickets hoping I would go with them, I would be like, weird. I don't know what you're like. Like if I've met him a couple of times and I'm like vaguely interested, I want to go to the concert and I don't want to pay. Like, here's the thing. I'm the level of Taylor Swift fan where, I would just kind of want to go to see, but I don't want to pay $3,000. So this would be like, I'm kind of waiting for this kind of, I don't think this opportunity is coming to me, but I'm waiting for like a similarly casual opportunity for someone to just randomly say to me like, hey, I have an extra ticket. And I can go even if I'm not that good friends with them. I would go.
Great way to market that on a podcast with a big listenership. if anyone's out there.
I'll go with you as long as you're not going to kill me. I don't know. Yeah.
Where's her next stop? You know, like my brother and his fiance went.
Great. Everyone says it's great.
Loved it. The spectacle, the whole thing. My brother was in, my brother's.
So you wouldn't go?
Same scenario as you. Mm-hmm. Someone has that extra ticket. I would go.
You would go. That's what I'm saying.
I would see it. But I'm not gonna, fuck this dude. To go.
I'm not saying I'm gonna. I'm just saying if it goes well, I'm more likely to.
Right, you'd more all he has to do is just say nothing.
See, that's the kind of thing where if we, let's say, like I became into him when we went, and then and then he broke up with me after that, I'd be like, you took me to Taylor Swift.
Well, that's exactly kind of the point of this, and why it's so uncomfortable is like.
Yeah, I'd be like, this guy is really into me.
Right, and. If it doesn't work out, no matter when it doesn't work out, you guys could be married 50 years and then he gets a divorce and he's like, I just don't, want to be married anymore. You took me to Taylor Swift. Like that would be held against him.
The Taylor Swift thing would expire after 6 months. 6 months after 6 months, I wouldn't say that he owed me anything for having taken me to Taylor Swift.
Okay. To me, this is too thirsty. The idea that someone.
You just said you would go.
I would go.
But you would think they were lame.
I would think they were lame.
Okay.
I would go.
That's the worst of all scenarios.
Right, for them.
Right.
Right. It'd be too thirsty. Use the ticket.
What if they happen to have an extra ticket? Unlikely, but possible.
I don't think you happen to have an extra ticket. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, sell it. Make some fucking money.
Maybe they give it to you. You sell it.
I sell it. Who's this guy? Right. Oh, I bought it off of eBay. What the fuck? Yeah. All
right. Well,
thirsty for me.
I'm going.
You're going.
If anyone's out there.
If you're out there, I mean, I would go. If someone was like, I want to bring my 2 favorite podcast hosts.
Yeah. If there's anyone with 2 extra tickets, where's the next show?
My brother bought me like gear. I got a shirt.
Taylor shirt.
Of course.
Wow.
I want to.
Well, you were on. You guys are basically best friends. You were on the Tonight Show.
The Tonight
Show together. Yeah.
We never met, never saw each other once. But we were on the same episode of the Tonight Show
at the same time.
And they show it a lot because I keep getting like sent residuals. You get like sent like 5 cents, whatever, for every time it airs or something. But they show it, I think, more than most episodes.
What if you meet Taylor Swift and she's like, Jared, I got an extra ticket. Would you want to?
Are you kidding me?
Would you?
Taylor, of course.
That's not thirsty. It's not thirsty if it's Taylor.
Front row, Taylor Swift jacket on, Euphoria makeup. I'm there, cheering on my girl Tay Tay.
Same.
I'm a huge fan of hers. I think she's just like, she's also like a case study. I just think what she does is just so interesting.
Yeah, she kills it.
Like, I don't know. I think everything she does is just like. She's the mascot for Capital One, right? Like I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. She might have heard our breakdown of the All Too Well extended version, and we might not be. We might be banned from the premises.
I don't have to. I can be a fan while also being critical of someone.
That's what I always say,
right.
But Reddit doesn't like that. Anyway, I'm in.
You're
nah
in.
From me.
Okay, that's thirsty or nah. With Stanley's Quencher H2.0, you are destined to look cool and keep your drink cool with their amazing double wall vacuum insulation. Yeah, this has stayed cold the whole episode, and this is a long one.
I'm bringing this to the Taylor tailgate if anyone never.
Plus, it comes in 5 different sizes for all your hydration needs, and they have eye-catching new colors that fit any and every summer occasion. Never look or be thirsty again, thanks to Stanley, and you can try Stanley for yourself by visiting Stanley1913.com.
Yes.
Stanley1913.com. Stanley1913.com.
And we'll be back on Sunday with your Sunday special.
Boom!
The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.